Okay, so the plants. Here, what I did is I broke them down by kind of how we have the nursery set up. So I have perennials that I've had great personal success with. I've got low-growing shrubs that stay about hip-high and lower. And then I have perennials, those plants that come back year after year. Those annuals, those plants are just high color. And then a few other just fun foo-foo things. So why don't we just start here. I have had great luck with, and this should be totally delicious. It smells so good. This is Gardenia. That fragrant Gardenia. You see the buds, probably has buds on here. You have huge flower buds. I've had this in a big red pot in my front yard, right where the javelina are, and they have not bothered this at all. It's an evergreen. It blooms a long time with a great big white flower. This is the hardy variety, so it actually winters over for us. And so it has a real fragrant flower. I put it right there at the front of the house. When you walk through, you go, oh, look, is that a gardenia? Oh, it smells so good. You would think they'd be attracted to the smell. They are not. So I've had very good luck with that. Yews are always on the list. Oh, gardenias. Keep them out of the middle of the day sun. They don't like full sun. Mine's on a west exposure. So it's got protection till about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then it gets sun at the end of the day. It thrives right there. I think mornings I'd be fine. Middle of the day, not so good. Same with this plant. This is a shade plant. This is a yew, Y-E-W. This happens to be a tall one. There's some that are more columnar. There's some that are spreading. This is more of a shade kind of plant. But it's evergreen. It puts a little red berry on. And animals of any sort do not bother this. It's pretty. This is its winter color. So it's starting to put on new buds. So kind of a lighter green new growth coming up. It's a great little plant here. This one's most famous in the Midwest. This is Boxwood. Full sun, full shade. It doesn't care. It just grows in a nice little knee-high shrub, kind of ball-shaped. Always looks like this. This is its winter color again. So animals, it looks delicious. There's something about the flavor they just do not like boxwood. So it's on every list for every kind of animal. It's a great little plant for here. I've had very good luck with this one. It's about to bloom. You can see it loaded with little buds here. It'll have a real yellow flower, covered in yellow, very fragrant. This is Spanish broom. So all the broom family, whether it's a ground cover, I've got one that's pink, this is one that's yellow. They don't eat these. And it's kind of like a pencil plant. Super drought hardy. This is one of those native, get it watered in for a year, get it rooted, and then cut it off with all irrigation. Yeah. That's this one.
Ken, can you keep those small Spanish brooms? Or do they
Spanish brooms, the secret of Spanish broom, now we're into pruning 101, but basically, they need to be whacked on quite often. In fact, I just took mine's probably 7, 8, 10 years old. It's so long, I don't know when I planted it. It was starting to get dead chunks in the middle of it. I just whacked it down to the ground. So that's enough. Basically, it was ugly, so I took a chainsaw to it. If it grows, fine. If it doesn't, well, at least I don't have that ugly thing in my yard anymore. I think it's going to come back from the roots and start over again. I find your brooms need a reset. Kind of like roses do that. Roses can quickly get old. They lose their vitality. They just need to be whacked on. Get rid of that old, barky, chunky kind of rosewood. Annuals. Which annuals? Now, annuals are those plants that are just rock stars. They live fast and furious, and then they just collapse in the winter. They don't winter over for us, but they bloom like crazy during the growing season. This is Dianthus. Anytime you see Dianthus or daisy, it's a golden, they're all kind of related. You know it's a good plant for here. So this one happens to come in different colors. In animals, it looks delicious. Animals they don't bother this. This is Alyssum. Frequently we'll put these at the base because it's a little bit lower and kind of flow over the edge. They don't bother Alyssum. I don't know why. It looks like it should have a little ranch dressing. I want some myself. But animals don't bother this. And it reseeds like crazy. It's a good plant for containers or out in the yard. So this one is flowering stock. Smells super good. But it has a texture to the leaf. You'll notice A lot of the plants animals don't like, if it's got a hair or a piece of fuzz, or if the leaf is two-toned, it's green on one side, silver or gray or blue on the back side, you'll notice they don't like those. Because it's a secretion the plant throws off, or it's a defensive mechanism the plant uses to keep animals from eating them. Plants are crazy smart. So, this one is a great example of that. This is Dusty Miller. It kind of looks like lamb's ear, but again, it has this fuzzy material to it that it throws over top of the foliage. It makes it drought hardy, and then it keeps the animals from eating this. It's designed itself so that animals don't want to eat it. It puts on a real pretty yellow flower that'll hover above that. I use this, mine are, I think, 2 years old now. It's kind of a biannual. It'll go really well for a couple of years, and then it kind of just flames out. You got to start over again. I've had great luck with this one. Calendula. It just puts on these great pretty flowers. Animals do not, javelina, nothing bothers us. But again, if you look closely at the leaf, it's got a texture to the leaf. So I think they eat these leaves and they kind of go, oh, that was good. I need a soda or something. All that hair and stuff is stuck inside their throat. It's scratchy and they go, that was no good, no good. You'll notice things like geraniums make the list. And generally speaking, I find most animals read the list on this one. Some of them don't. I think some pack rats harvest the flowers just because it's so pretty. They bring it home, they go, look honey, look what I brought for you. They aren't eating it. They're either making nests or they're just, it's so pretty. They're like the bedazzle factor. Pack rats love bedazzle. I mean, little wrappers, you'll see all kinds of any little bits of trash out there gathered up and look, it's so pretty. But generally geraniums I've had very good luck with. And then poppies of all sorts. This is an ornamental poppy, but I've had them out there. They don't eat it. If you look closely at the stems, you'll see a hair coming out. Again, there's a theme here. If it's blue color, if the leaves are two-toned color, or if it's got a texture to the foliage or the flower, they don't seem to eat those. These are real classics. And then every yard needs one of these. Anyone know what this is? Snapdragons. Again, it looks delicious, but they don't bother these. It doesn't smell good. I mean, it looks pretty, but just a great little plant. Comes in every color you could think of. Gets some nice, good size to it. The secret with this will bloom through May or so. And when it gets kind of hot, once you reach about 90 degrees, it'll go to seed. So what I'll do is at that point, I'll cut the seed heads off about right here. And I'll fertilize my snapdragons with the all-purpose plant food. Just sprinkle that around. They'll come right back into bloom again. By late summer, early fall, they're right back into color. They'll stay that way through about December, New Year or so. So, insider tip. Okay, let me pull a chair. Shrubs. Let's get this one. This is a native. It grows wild throughout northern Arizona. But the native one is blue. It's called silverberry or Elaeagnus. This is very drought hardy. You'll notice the leaf. Pretty on the front. It's got a secretion on the back that allows it to keep from perspiring. So it's very efficient on its water use. This one I kind of water for a year, cut it off of all care afterwards. It's an evergreen that gets up about as big as you and I, about like this. It's a great little shrub plant. Very fragrant flower in spring. So this new variety, I sell more of these than the native one because they've figured out how to variegate the leaf. This is its winter color. It's just starting to push new spring growth. It's just how it looks year round. Great plant, no animal. Deer, elk, I mean nothing eats this. Full sun, blistering hot, surrounded by asphalt. Kick dirt at it. Talk dirty to it. I mean, it loves to be abused. This one, I think every yard should have one of these. This is heavenly bamboo. This is a new variety called Tuscan Flame. And this is its winter color right there, green. The more sun it's in, the brighter the foliage will turn. It's starting to push its new growth, and it's famous for this burgundy new growth. But animals don't eat these. Looks delicious, but they just don't bother. This happens to be a dwarf. Your parents grew a Nandina domestica. It grew up bigger than you were. It gets tall and narrow, and kind of mangy looking sometimes. We're figuring out how to dwarf these so they just get this big. That's it, and they get brighter colors to them in the fall, or the new growth has brighter colors to it. Nandina. I've had great luck with this one. Anyone know what this is? This is a funky plant. Not the norm. This is hops. You got it, yeah. Hippity hop, you got it. Hops. I've got it right out there in the front yard, crawling up a fence. Not a fence, but a rock wall. And it grows very, very well. It's been there for several years. It's right there where the javelina kind of roam around. They've never bothered this. Had great look. But again, if you look closely at the leaf structure, you'll see this texture to the needles. And you see not a thorn really, but a definite texture to it. They get that texture stuck in their throat. This is all new growth. This is a perennial. It dies back to the ground, and it will grow 10, 12, 15 feet in 1 year. It's an amazing plant. You can sit there and sip your coffee and watch it grow in the morning. It's amazing. But hops, yes, for you home brewers, this is the hops. It's on a little flower. It's real pretty. I don't happen to use that. I just have it because it's pretty and different, and I've grown everything else, so I get bored. So I'll try growing the hops. And it worked out well. This is a native. It grows wild throughout the mountain. Bradshaw's. This is Oregon grape, creeping mahonia. It's blooming like this in the spring. Has these yellow flower clusters, and each of those flowers will form a little tiny berry. This is named Oregon grape. It's evergreen. This is its winter color. It will force. This one only gets this tall and spreads. But it also comes in a compact form. It gets this big. In a standard form, it gets this big. So it comes in 3 different heights. You can pick the height you want. They all have the same foliage. They all have the same flower. They all are bulletproof when it comes to animals. I would not introduce this in the middle of my flower bed because it will take over. It's pretty aggressive. So it's really happy growing here. This one, Azaleas and rhododendrons. They're more shade plants, but some of you are up in the pines where you get this dappled or filtered sun, or we all have a north side of our house. This is where you grow these. So your rhodies and your azaleas, they're just starting to open. They're famous in the spring, and this happens to be a hardy variety that comes back and winter's over for us. So another good choice. One of my favorites, if you're into drought hardy, let's get a couple over here. This one doesn't look like much because it's just a baby, but this thing will actually get up as tall as I am and as wide. It's beautiful, shapely plant. Super drought hardy. Again, low care. This is flowering quince. Now, the flowering quince your grandparents grew, it had a thorn and it had a huge fruit on it. We've bred all that out of it. So this one is thornless and it doesn't put the fruit. And the flowers are crazy orange and a crazy white or red. So we've got 2 varieties called, it's a new introduction called double storm or storming. Orange storm, red storm, just look for storm quince. Drought hardy, tough plant. Animals don't eat this. I had one right in Skull Valley, right there in the middle of all the animals. And animals, they didn't bother this plant. Cotoneaster, or cotton Easter is how a lot of people it's spelled. This is a great plant. Drought hardy again. It's one of those that every yard should have at least one form of Cotoneaster. This will come in this high. It'll come in this high. We've got every variety. It does really well. It gets a white flower in spring that forms a red berry. So it's just a real nice little plant. Birds love this plant. So it's a great plant. So I've got several of these just because it's so tough. And I'm a bird gardener. I like to pull in birds, and so they like this plant. Good plants are here. Let's see how many more I got. What are we doing on time? Getting close. 2 more carts. These are all the shrubs that are shrubs and vines that get hip high and lower. What these are, honeysuckle. You can train honeysuckle to go up a fence or just be a ground cover. But it's drought hardy and animals don't leave it alone. It's a good plant for here. I've had very good luck with Spirea. It's kind of an old-fashioned plant. It's been around forever. This one happens to be a new one. It's called gold mine or gold mound Spirea. It's deciduous. It'll lose its leaves in the fall, but in the spring it comes back with this bright yellow foliage, which is very pretty. It loves the sun. You can put with it if you've got dark rock, out in your landscape. This would be a real good contrasting kind of designer plant. But the flowers in mid to late spring through early summer are a bright pink. And the bright pink contrast against this gold foliage is very striking. And it looks delicate. The animals don't bother Spireas. This one is related to our native manzanita. This is manzanita. It's ground cover manzanita. Grows, this is as tall as it gets right there. And then it keeps going sideways. So it kind of keep growing out. Great for erosion control. But manzanita, famous for their red bark. It's evergreen. And it puts these little bell-shaped flowers on every spring. Again, it's super drought hardy. It's a native. It grows wild. And then this one I've had good luck. Wherever I've had gardens, I mean from Prescott Valley to Skull Valley to several homes in Prescott, this one I've grown. And it's just a great little plant. This is flowering Heath. Grows in full sun to part sun. It only gets about knee-high, kind of mounds like this. I like this one because it's been in bloom for like 2 months. It's a winter bloomer. Even the snow is blooming. And then when it's done blooming, it'll put on more of this. It's just starting to put on its new growth. It has this fern-looking evergreen growth to it. It's a great little perennial plant. So this plant is just fun. In containers, makes a great container plant in a raised bed, or just right out there next to the driveway. It's a great plant for your animals. Don't eat this. That's it for the shrubs. So let's go perennials, shall we? Why don't I just bring this cart right over here? Would that be easier? So in fact, I'll just do, yeah, that'll be good. This one, every yard should have this. One of my favorite little shrubs or tall perennials. This is Salvia, or autumn sage. Hummingbirds think they've died and gone to heaven with this plant. You'll literally see them race across a yard, see this plant and go, whoa, I gotta go take a moment with this. This is right out on my street. I've got Russian sage, dwarf variety Russian sage. It's blue. With these out front, it's red. It's like a showpiece. When you drive by the house, you kind of go, whoa, this is pretty cool. And the hummingbird, it's right there where all the animals are. They don't bother this. It's a great plant. Again, it's got an herbal scent. When you rub the foliage, it'll smell like sage. And so animals don't like herbs, whether it's thyme, rosemary, oregano, whatever it is, they don't like herbs. It's that heavy oil or scent or something about them. They just don't like the flavor or the taste. And this is right up there with them. Same thing with herbs. This is lavender. They don't bother lavender. I've had one right there at trough level. I put this in a nice red pot at the front entrance of the house. It's at buffet level. Heavily just graze right through them. They never bother this. But when you take a close look at the foliage, this is blue foliage. They don't seem to eat, which is a secretion the plant throws over that to make it more drought hardy and keep the animals off. Plants are amazing. In fact, Facebook, how many Facebookers do we have? Half the crowd? Good. I love Facebook. Because I can take my phone and go click and go, look what just came in, click. I can send it off. I just posted one, I shared it. They said lima beans. No, what was it? Yeah, I think it was lima beans. When caterpillars come and eat lima beans, the beans throw off a scent that attracts predatory wasps. They go after the wasps. And so the animal's actually changing its chemistry. The plant's changing the chemistry to attract beneficials to help it get through. Plants are absolutely amazing. This is gopher plant. The myth, plant one of these in your yard and all the gophers will disappear. That doesn't happen. Not even come close to happening. They don't eat the plant. Animals seem to leave it alone. I plant this mainly because it's funky looking. It looks Arizona. It just has a great little perennial plant, very drought hardy, full sun, pretty yellow flower. It's a great little plant here. If you like low care, this is a great plant to be a perennial that's low care. And if you've got animals, it doesn't bother you. This one I've had in my raised bed out front where rabbits and javelina roam. This is peony, and they've never bothered my peony. You would think they would. Big fleshy roots, nice soft foliage, but they don't bother it at all. So peony, I've had great luck. And several of my homes.
Do the deer like peonies?
I don't think so. Yeah, have you got peony? Are they doing okay? Deer?
They don't seem to eat them.
They don't seem to eat them. They look like they should be delicious, but they don't bother them. Ivy, nothing kill. I mean, you can't kill ivy. You need things to eat on ivy because it takes over. You stand still, start crawling up your leg. But ivies do really, really well. Iris. This is just our Prescott purple iris. It's the most common of all the iris here. Animals don't bother this.
Actually, the deer will eat these.
Oh, they will eat them. Do the rabbits?
Yes, I got a rabbit eating.
You need a crock pot and some barbecue sauce. Shotgun.
Rabbits.
Oh,
The
man.
Gophers now, we don't have any rabbits.
This is related to this right here. This is the annual variety. See, the flowers are larger. This is the perennial variety. This is perennial Dianthus. So it blooms for a long time, mainly most of spring and early summer, and then finally it'll poop out. All you have is nice blue foliage. Notice the blue foliage. This one blooms non-stop for the entire year. That's the main difference. But this one comes back next year, this one doesn't. So the difference between perennial and annual. Okay. I have this right by my mailbox. It's called Gara. Oh, I broke it. Poor little guy. There we go. Anyway, these flowers right here, this will actually hover. It will actually float about that far. It'll just kind of float and wave in the wind. It's called Gara, G-A-U-R-A. Great little perennial. I put it right out on the edge where it just doesn't get any water or food or anything. It's just out, just in the neglect level. And it just loves it there. It's a great desert, high desert, perennial plant. And hummingbirds love it. Just love it. Gara. This is blanket flower or Gaillardia. Comes in a lot of different colors. Again, you'll notice the foliage has a texture on the top of the leaf, which means you don't care for that. You can almost spot which ones are more to have a propensity to be animals will like it. This is a great perennial. It's back every year and it does this all the time, just all summer long. If you deadhead it, it'll send off even more flowers. So every yard should have one of these. It's a great plant for you. Anyone know what that is? Columbine. There's a native columbine. It's yellow. It grows wild here. We're trying to introduce, it's so hardy here, that we're trying to introduce more colors because animals don't bother them. They grow in sun or shade, which is really versatile. Perennial, it will die back to the ground and come back fresh every spring, but you can count on a columbine to bloom and be kind of a rock star. I mean, no flower has, that's just a unique flower. This one's more of a challenge. Anyone know what this is? Rock rose or Lenten rose. Lenten rose would be more or hellebores is how you look at it in Fine Garden magazine. Hellebore is kind of a hellish name, so I like Lenten rose is so much better. It's a winter bloomer. It's a perennial, it comes back year after year, and it does this very kind of midwinter through early spring. It's one of the only things that actually has that kind of color to it. It tends to be more of a shade plant. It doesn't like that midday sun, so underneath the canopies of your trees, at the front entrance in a container, that's where you want to plant these. It's great here. This one is brand new. I just brought it in last fall, put it in the test gardens. I have test victims. I like to see, put one out there to see if it actually gets eaten, how well it does. And if it does well, I'll commit to more. So I like that. I call it the canary in the coal mine or the test victim in the gardens. This is Hebe, H-E-B-E. It's an alpine plant. It grows up in the mountains above the tree lines, but it's an evergreen. This is its winter color. And I can tell you, it looks like this all winter. It's fabulous. And I put it right there where the javelina, I mocked them. I said, go, I defy you to eat this. And they left it alone. It's been great. So I'm encouraged. I've got 3 different colors. I've got this color, a silver color, and a bright green. And all 3 of them seem to be bulletproof. It's got a thick, waxy leaf, so I think that's going to mean it's going to be great in the sun. You know, thicker leaves or waxy leaves means it's more efficient on the water use.
How tall does that get?
It only gets very, very short, like just knee high or shorter. Little guy. Alpine plants are generally little. And I brought this one. I have no idea if it's animal proof at all. It smells so good, I had to share it. It's Daphne, so if you smell something in the greenhouse right now, this one plant will fill up the entire nursery. I think it's going to be I actually don't know. But you should smell it before you leave. It smells so good. Oh my goodness, love it. And that's the plants I have for you. There's more than that. I just went through quickly one cart with
I like the Heath.
with each department. Kind of here's tall things, here's short things, here's perennials, here's annuals. Now, what can I share with you? All of your vegetables are going to love. So they're going to love. Everyone loves lettuce. Everyone loves spinach. Everyone loves broccoli. Everyone loves. So there you got to fence them off or be a little more protective of them. Then in the backyard where you can watch over them. Up on a deck where you control them. I am hearing rumors the javelina are so trained they're walking up 2-story steps to get to the deck to enjoy the view and then nibble on your stuff. So they're actually becoming very trained. A little trick there. I had a friend. He put a kid door up. He just said close the gate so they can't get through. And another friend, he took carpet tacks, like for your carpets, so that wood strip with the nails coming through. He put it at the base of the stairs where they wanted to walk up. Highly effective. So those are a couple of tricks you might try. The pulsating sound things you'll hear every once in a while. You'll see those at maybe the hardware stores. They're like $100. They're expensive. And I haven't found. My good gardeners say they work for about 6 months. But eventually, I think they just get used to that frequency or the sound or that pulsating. And then they start coming down the driveway going, it's no worries, come on down. The eats are good down here. And so they start to come in and get into things. So I stopped selling those. I want consistency. So, any other last questions? And I think we're all done. I'll hang out.